What are you whining about? What up, tubers? This is a special video for me. My name is Jackhammer Mike, and I'm gonna compile a quickie first aid kit video of shrink wrapping or vacuum sealing. This is for the contingency plan. TCP is putting together viewers or subscriber videos into one big old long thing. I don't know what he's going to do with it. But if anybody is like me and sending him videos, I think my shortest video is about 3.5 minutes. And if he compiles a bunch of those, it's going to be a long video. So I told him that I would show a little bit of shrink wrap, or I keep saying shrink wrap, vacuum sealing, and I'm gonna do this really quick. I'll get a more in-depth video when I can get it on my channel. My channel is shut down for the meantime due to circumstances beyond my control. However, it is pretty rocking for some of the stuff that I do here. And just to show you, I've got lights all over the place. I don't like doing it indoors. I like doing it out in my garage. But that's my favorite AR, Colt LE6920 with a Hollow Sun 503G ACSS optic and a magnifier, Vortex 3-power magnifier on it. My favorite handgun, a Beretta 92D Centurion, D for double action only. However, I have tricked it out and put on a hammer and sear, and also now it's single action, double action. It's a compact 92. And it is a sweet gun. It is a real sweet gun. It's a little heavy, but I'm a big dude. I'm 6'2", 230. So for me, it's not that bad. I can conceal it. I have no problem with it. It's my favorite handgun, 9mm. It rocks. It's just a beautiful, fun to shoot gun. I love it. So that's a little eye candy for this video. All of this stuff you're seeing here, minus a few things, because the boxes have gone away, I've accumulated over 1.5 years to, or from Amazon. And if you buy little bits at a time, you can make yourself up a really sweet first aid kit. Several of them that I've got here, I'm going to show you here in a minute. And I'll unroll this as soon as I can make a little bit of room. Alright, I have 2 kits for you. Dog, you're gonna drive me nuts. Go lay down somewhere. Buzz off. Alright, I've got 2 kits here to show you. One is my Condor. This is a rip-away first aid kit. This is what I have on the back of my LBE, my chest rig. So when I go shooting, this is what's on my back. So just take a little quick peek inside. Oh, and I've got my mechanics on. I've got a new pair of mechanics vents. Love these gloves. These are the best shooting gloves out there. So I wear them a little bit to stretch them out, get them to fit comfortably. So my rip-away has all sorts of blood stoppers. Obviously, if you're out shooting, you're going to assume that maybe somebody might get shot or hurt really bad, and so you put blood stoppers in there. Tourniquet. I have some eye wash, Bausch & Lomb, which I just taped the top on There's an eye cup in here, and I tape that on. So in case you get dust or whatever in your eye or whatever, you can rinse your eyes out. And then there's a little bit of miscellaneous stuff. There's too much stuff to go over, so I'm not doing it. I'm just showing you real quick like one of my first aid kits. This is what you would call an IFAK, individual first aid kit. Now this one here is my BLACKHAWK medical roll. This is for pretty much anything that you could do. BLACKHAWK makes a sweet kit to put your first aid supplies in. I carry this with me everywhere. Anytime I'm in my vehicle, anytime I'm out of the house, this goes with me. And in case I have some sort of a situation, I got first aid supplies. The cool thing about this thing is that everything is visible. You can see everything. SAM splint, blood stoppers, Israeli bandages, more freaking blood stoppers, band-aids, eye wash, Gold Bond, Ace bandages, self-sticking tape, scissors in case I have to cut somebody's pants off or whatever. All of this stuff is all of that stuff. Okay, so sorry for the shaky camera, but all of that stuff is a little bit of everything inside of this thing. My main focus is blood stoppers. You can never have enough blood stoppers. So with that, I'm just going to roll this back up because I don't have time to go over this thing right now with y'all. The main point of this video was to do a vacuum seal real quick, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to vacuum seal up a maxi pad since TCP is making fun of me, thinking that I somehow like to play with maxi pads. But I can take this maxi pad, which is about, I don't know, you want to say almost an inch thick, alright, just raw, and I can put it in this vacuum seal bag, and it's going to be about a 1/4 inch thick. So in the room basically that one of these would take, I can put 4 of these things. I also, because it is in this food saver bags, it's heavy duty, I don't know if it's Mylar or what kind of plastic it is. I don't know what the thickness is. The boxes they don't say, they don't tell you what it is. So I don't know. However, it's safe to boil. Obviously it's going to take a beating. You can freeze it, you can boil it, whatever. It isn't going to hurt it. The benefit to this is several-fold. Okay, not only can I shrink it down to nothing, but it's waterproof. So if I take a dunk in a stream or I get rained on or whatever, I don't have to worry about my supplies getting wet. Okay, now you'll notice that I put on here, I label it, and it's inside the bag so that the label doesn't get wet and trashed and bleed off and you can't read what's in it. Label's also laminated. I'll go into that. I'll have to get in a separate video. You'll have to watch my channel. But it says maxi pad used for heavy bleeding or guys acting like pussies. Well, I put that on there for comedy relief. You know, when you got a guy bleeding and he's pretty bummed out and he might be bordering on going into shock, if you have a little comedy with it, it's going to help him out a lot psychologically. So, you know, when you tell a guy you're going to put him on the rag, he'll get a chuckle out of it. Notice that I've got little notches cut into here. Hopefully you can see that. The notches help me tear it apart. If you don't notch it, you can't even rip this with your teeth. You'll have to cut it open. So if you just put a small little notch in here, it just rips right open. and no big deal. So I use this vacuum sealer for everything. Okay, I got 5 packs of 4x4 gauze sponges in here. Look how thin that is. I mean, my finger, let's see if I can do that. Look how thin that is. 5 of them in here, all waterproof, airtight. I got this idea from a guy on YouTube called USNERDOC. US Navy ER Doc. Has great videos on doing this. And that's where I first found it. Now what he'll do is he takes all his stuff out of the wrappers. I like the wrappers on there because I like to know what's in here. I also, when I label this thing, moderate bleeding, you know, if you're the one, you have a kit like this, and say for instance, you're the one who's hurt or passed out or whatever, and people need to treat you, you want to try to give them something that they can do. They might not be as skilled as you are. They might not know what this stuff is. So you need to label these things so that they can, you know, kind of get, you know, layman's saying, okay, moderate bleeding. Yeah, okay, so rip it open, put some pads on him, you know, do something to try to stop the bleeding. Okay. Ab pads. You know, this is the beauty of shrink wrapping this stuff. This is 2 8x10 abdominal pads in here. Okay, this is for heavy bleeding. If you take one into the stomach or something, this is what you're going to want. And I also have, well, Israeli bandage, but those are already shrunk and self-contained. But ab pads, there's 2 of them in here. Okay. And again, it shrinks it down to nothing. This is what a normal one looks like in there, and it's pretty thick. All right, so I take 2 of these in this little packet right here. Self-contained, waterproof, airtight, never going to get wet, not going to get damaged by the elements. Shrink wrapping, vacuum sealing is the way to go. What else? I can do the small ones. You know, I've got like 5. This one's not labeled, so I got to redo this one. But I've got like 5 small gauze pads in here. Redo it. Take some extra bags, Ziploc bags. These are 6 mil Ziploc bags. You get them on Amazon, dirt cheap. Take some, roll them up, put them in your kit, because if you've got some leftovers, you want to dump them in here just so you can keep them protected until you get home, so that you can re-shrink them again once you get there. And that pretty much covers it. I can put water gel, burn dressing in here, and it keeps it protected. And if it's burst, it's not going to leak all over my bag. This is a burn dressing thing, and this one's kind of thin, but it's in a Mylar bag. So I mean, if it somehow gets ripped or torn or whatever, it's going to leak all over your shit. This won't. Okay, this is going to stay airtight, protected, and it's not going to leak all over your stuff. So with that, let me show you what I got here real quick. Now, this is going to be way going over what I wanted to do, but let me show you what I got here. I buy various sizes of bags because I like to make my own bags. I'll cut them in different lengths. The vacuum sealer cost about 50 bucks at Wally World. The bags, 10 bucks, whatever. This is a 8 inch by 20 foot box. So you get a lot of seals out of that. And what I'll do is I'll cut it with this paper cutter, which cost me about 9 bucks, 10 bucks, something like that. It wasn't very expensive. And sorry for the movement, I got to keep moving my viewfinder around so I can see. As you'll notice on these things, there's marks on here. So you can get a nice straight cut on here with this. And then, you know, you can just, you seal one end and you put the maxi in the other end. So I'm going to show you right now how to do that. Obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's nothing major. Obviously going to turn it on. Oh, you gotta make sure it's plugged in or the socket's turned on. Duh. Alright, let's see. Okay. So what I like to do is I'll just cut the size I need and then seal one end of it. So you just set it in there, press down, lock them in real good, and seal. And what that does is that melts the end for you, and within a couple of seconds it's done. Alright, so now I put a line on here. Hopefully I can pick that up. Put a line on here, seal that up. So now what I do is, if you notice, looks like you got a couple of rubber bands on this thing. I do, because it helps to tighten it up, put it in some sort of a, a little bit of an order, and makes it a little cleaner once you get it in the bag. So I'll put a couple little rubber bands on here. Just make it fit nicer. See, I'm already shrinking it up. Look at that. Okay. And then I will put that in here. Try to jam it in a corner so that you don't have so much stuff to cut off. Okay. Try to clean it up, make it look nice, presentable. And then you just set it in here. Vacuum and seal. Now when that red light goes off, you're good to go. Okay. So now you've got one seal right here, the other seal right here. So that's pretty good. I could probably get a little closer, but what I'll do is I'm going to seal it right up in here so I can get it a smaller package, not so much waste. So it's kind of tough because it starts to, the lid here hits this part. So it makes it a little bit tough to do. So you kind of just have to go as close as you can, seal, and you're done. There's going to be some excess, it's just the way it is. It folds up into those, in that BLACKHAWK really well. And that's about as close as I'm going to get my seal. Okay. And then what I'll do, basically put it on the paper cutter without cutting the dealy bobber too much. Just whoosh. Paper cutter works awesome. Like I said, that was about $9 at Wally World. Trims it up real nice. Gives you a nice straight edge. And you can trim those, as much, look at that, you can trim as much of the excess off as you can. See all that? Gotta get rid of that. And right there. So, do one more. I didn't label this, I just messed up. I forgot to label it. So, this obviously is not gonna last. I'm gonna have to redo this one. So, now I've shrunk it up to, absolutely nothing. Look at how flat that is. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, well there you have it. Vacuum seal. It's the way to go. Oh, and like I said, you want to make sure that you're cutting a notch in this excess. Cut a little notch in there so that you can just tear it apart and pull it. If you don't, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to get those things open. So with that, I'm